Okay, team, so what I really wanted to do in today's video is thoroughly break down 3 different scalping strategies that have shown me crazy good results in the market. If you watch our morning live streams every weekday morning, you'll see me trading these strategies completely live. And if you do watch us, you know I've had a ton of success using these. And again, we're going to thoroughly break these down, showing you entries, exits, nuances, and most importantly, the conditions that help these strategies actually work. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you watch to the very end, and let's take a look at these systems. Now, when you're learning to document charts, the first thing you want to understand before we delve deeper into these strategies is how to identify proper levels in a historical chart. Now, if we look at MRIN for an example, you can see we have a double top level. It was both the high of the day for 2 consecutive days, right around $21. If we zoom into this level here, we would not say that this support or resistance level really is at, say, 2094 or 2096. We're going to round up to the whole dollar of 21. Because when you're looking at support and resistance levels, you have to identify and really look at the entire range around a half and whole dollar. You need to look at this entire range because that's what other traders are doing as well. Now, other traders aren't exiting in anticipation of 2094 here. They're exiting in anticipation of the whole dollar of 21. And so understanding this is not a resistance level at 2094. It's a resistance level at the whole dollar of 21. And if you look at the broader picture, it makes a lot more sense. And again, I'm saying this here because I see a lot of traders identifying major levels at obscure numbers like 0.94 or 0.97 or 102 or 105. In that case, you would really want to just round up to the historical whole number that it's, respecting. That is how you do proper charting. And so I wanted to make sure we got this right in this video so you would understand what I mean here. And just to give you another example here, if we look at MRIN, we see a few different levels here. If we look at this level, we can see a lot of confirmation at around 1740s. We have another one there at 1750. We wouldn't call this the resistance level of 1740 something. We would call it the resistance level of 1750. It's a half dollar level that other traders are obviously paying attention to. And so we have to take it in the context of psychology here and understand what all the other traders are looking at. They're not looking at the 1747 level. They're not looking at the 1752 level. They are looking at the half dollar of 1750. It's a psychological level. If we look up at another example on this specific day with MRIN, we could see another level right here. And if we documented the exact level, it would say 1994. But at the same time, again, this is not the resistance level of 1994. It's the resistance level of 20. That's what the other traders that were in these trades were following. They weren't planning on getting out at 1994. They were planning on exiting this position before it ran into the psychological level of $20. And so I want to make sure to really hone that in so you understand, and it should make sense to you. Remembering that rounding rule as it relates to psychological levels in trading is a big important step for you as you're learning to document technical charts for you to understand where the major milestone levels on a chart actually are. The next big thing to understand before we dive deeper into these actual strategies is understanding how we identify trends using the VWAP. Now, to put this into perspective, the VWAP is a intraday trend indicator. So it's going to tell you the short-term trend of a specific stock. Using a mid and high cap here like AMD as an example, you could see that AMD was maintaining above the VWAP level. If you look at the pullbacks to this VWAP area, it respected it. And when you have a stock that's respecting a specific trend, you can see where all the trade ideas can come from. Buying these pullbacks in a stock that's respecting a specific trend is going to be a lot more reliable. And again, the way we see that here is using the VWAP. That makes the VWAP a really powerful tool because, again, if we can find stocks that are maintaining obvious and self-evident trends, then we're going to have a more easy time actually profiting from those stocks, identifying a trend. Capitalizing on trends is one of the most important concepts really to understand in all of trading. Whether you're swing trading, investing, scalping, day trading, you're usually trying to identify a reliable trend for you to exploit in a number of different ways. And so using the VWAP as a tool to identify that trend is a big important thing with these mini strategies. And so I hope you understand that as well. One of the most important things I always talk about in my videos is volume, because if you can use volume correctly, it can give you a better edge in the market. And we could take a look at ALF here as an example. If we look at ALF, you can see at the opening bell when the volume was the highest, ALF maintained a more respectable and obvious trend. Once the volume died down some, the trend immediately changed to a downward trend, and so waiting for good volume and attacking it here when the volume is the highest is going to help you attack a specific trend in a more reliable way. And so when you hear volume, you think reliability, because in turn, a lot of traders are just not analyzing volume as much as they should in their trade. And so understanding the reliability that comes with good volume is a big important thing for you to understand in technical trading overall. To look at another example of this concept, if you look ALF at the opening few hours, you could see the volume was maintaining at a much higher level. My rule of thumb is that I'm looking for at least 400,000 shares traded per minute in volume. And you could see at the opening few hours, ALF maintained really high volume relative to the rest of the day. If you look at this window here, this was when the trend was the most reliable with ALF here, which was when the volume was the highest. Once the volume actually started to die down, the trend became less reliable, and eventually when the volume dropped even more, the trend completely broke and it was mostly just neutral sideways, not a super favorable trend for you to attack. So if you can wait for good volume and wait for that reliability that comes with it, you're going to have a leg up and a little bit more of an edge over a lot of other traders. And so it's a really important thing for you to understand in your technical trading. Okay, team, so now that we've identified all the different conditions and kind of nuances that we take in these scalping systems, again, I really hope you understand the concepts we were trying to show you, because they're all really important concepts that I use in my everyday trading. But with all of that said, let's delve into the actual strategies themselves here. Okay, so the first setup and strategy I wanted to go over in today's video is the cup and handle VWAP breakout. Now, this is a really powerful strategy because it takes advantage of a big sentiment change in a stock within the first 30 to 40 minutes after the opening bell. If we look at WISH here, WISH, you can see within that first few minutes after the opening bell, this thing formed a U-shaped breakout pattern. Now, what we look for here is a stock that opens up weak on the day. We want to see it maintaining below the VWAP level, forming a U-shaped pattern. And you can see the U here. This type of shape is really, really important because other traders see it too, and it's a big reversal pattern that other traders are waiting for. And so when WISH gets the good volume that we talked about earlier in the video, we have that confirmation that we're breaking over the VWAP and the volume is there to prop it up. And so when we break over the VWAP and the volume comes in, that's when we start looking to enter on a pullback to the VWAP area. You can see we get a nice pullback here, and that's what we're targeting as our entry. And we're just looking for a quick scalping breakout here. We want to see the stock bounce. We want to see volume come in like we saw it did here on WISH. And then we're just looking to take advantage up to the next resistance level. That could be maybe right here on this specific chart at around 1060 or 1050, but we're not taking a huge position and we're not trying to ride this one up a huge amount. We're just trying to scalp the range that you just see here, because in this type of scalping position, we're taking advantage of accuracy. That's what scalping is really, is taking advantage of accuracy as opposed to good risk and reward ratios. So if you can be disciplined and not look for a home run and just look to take a single every time you see this setup, it should have pretty solid success for you. At least I know it did for me. And so we'll see what happens moving forward, but this is one of my favorite strategies to attack in the market. The next strategy on my list today is a trend attack scalp. Now, this one's a really simple strategy, but let's take a look deeper into it. The trend attack scalp is a really basic strategy that a ton of other traders use. Just like the name suggests, with this type of scalping system and strategy, you're simply looking to identify a reliable trend in the market and then scalp that trend. And so if we look at BSQR here as an example, you can see we have all of the conditions we spoke about previously. We have a stock that's maintaining really good volume. In this case, it's maintaining over 1 million shares per minute. And with that good volume, again, comes a more reliable trend, if you guys remember the condition we talked about earlier. And so with that reliability, that's when we're going to choose to attack and scalp on these pullbacks. Because you can see here, if you were to buy a pullback here and just scalp out, it's going to work a large majority of the time. Whether you're choosing on entering here or entering there, it's going to work and be a more reliable trade. And the reason for that is because BSQR is simply maintaining a more reliable trend. And again, that's what the conditions are all about. If we get good volume like this and we see a lot of confirmations with the VWAP, a lot of respecting the VWAP pullbacks, that's when we're going to choose to attack these trends, and they're going to be more reliable in that situation. And so the key with this strategy, again, is waiting for the conditions we talked about, identifying a stock that's maintaining a reliable trend, just like BSQR here, and simply attacking small range pullbacks. If you can do that, again, it's going to work most of the time for you. At least it did for me. You just got to be disciplined and selective on the stocks you trade, and you have to make sure that they're actually respecting and maintaining a reliable trend. Okay, so this last strategy on my list is one of the most effective strategies I've been using for the last few years, really, if you can trade it correctly. And so let's take a look deeper into the VWAP reclaim right now. Okay, so with this VWAP crossover or reclaim strategy, what we're really taking advantage of is sentiment changes in these specific stocks. And so if we look at BSQR here as an example, with this specific strategy, we're actually looking for stocks that open up well below the VWAP. And our goal for this system and strategy is to wait for volume to come in, like you can see here on BSQR. We wait for the stock to actually cross over the VWAP level, and then we're attacking small pullbacks to it. And so if you look at BSQR here, we could see the volume come in. Prior to that, it was maintaining, 500,000 shares traded per minute. But when it broke over the VWAP, you could see volume shoot up to over 1 million shares traded per minute. And you can see we're buying this pullback here, anticipating a sentiment change with the stock that's going to start respecting an upward trend, if that makes sense. And so our goal for this is to wait for good volume to confirm our trade, wait for a crossover over the VWAP area, and then simply buying the pullback. That's why we call it the VWAP reclaim, because this strategy is taking advantage of a stock reclaiming the VWAP and then continuing a new trend here. You can see that with BSQR. And again, this is our entry. We're only attacking a small rebound bounce from this setup. We are not taking advantage of a huge reward to risk ratio here. We're simply trying to attack the range, trying to ride it up for a quick and small bounce, and then move on with our day, finding more trades to get involved with. Anyways, team, that's it for this video. We tried to do this one a little bit different than our last videos just to save a little bit of time. I did want to put out a video like this Sunday, but as always, if you want to help support your boy here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button below, and remember, you can watch us day trade these specific strategies completely live every single weekday morning. We do a live stream every single weekday for free right here on YouTube. You can come hang out with us, talk about what's moving in the market, and watch us trade the same strategies we talked about in this video. And so make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Good luck in the market, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for our live stream. And also be sure to go check out our newest podcast channel. We do podcasts with traders on a new channel called Trader Rehab. Go subscribe to that. I'll include that link in the description for you to check out. Good luck in the market, guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, team.